What's this? Another Q&A video? Hold on, here we go. That's like butter. Well, howdy friends. Brian Flechsig of Mad River Outfitters in the Midwest Fly Fishing Schools, and welcome back to another episode in our Q&A series. As always, friends, we greatly appreciate the questions. Helping folks is what we do. In fact, we often say customer service is what we do for a living. Fly fishing is what we love and what we sell. So if it weren't for your questions, we wouldn't be here. But remember, you send your questions to admin@madriveroutfitters.com, or better yet, you pick up the phone and you give us a call. There's nothing better than a good old conversation. Without further ado, hold on. Easy. Hello, Brian. My name is Malcolm Mann, and I live in a small town in Red Lodge, Montana. Brian does a great job at answering questions, so I've got a question I've been curious about. Well, thank you for that, Malcolm. I like to use 1 to 2 different rods for different applications, but for this case, say I'm using a 5-weight 9-foot rod, and I'm dry and nymph fishing, but I come along while I'm nymphing and see a few fish rising. So I change out my nymphing leader for a dry fly leader. Very smart. But here's my question. What is the best possible way to store my nymphing leader when I switch over to a different leader? Also, when I plan to store this leader, how do I keep it in good shape and keep it from knotting or kinking? I know of leader wallets, but I wanted to hear your point of view on this and understand your side and tactics for this. I appreciate your time, effort, money, and wisdom. Thank you for all you do, Brian Flechsig. And you spelled my name right, so thank you, Malcolm. What is the best possible way to store my nymphing leader when I switch over to a different leader? Well, Malcolm, you mentioned it. It is going to be a leader wallet. Okay, and leader wallets are by far the best way to keep and store leaders, and they will typically easily fit in a vest pocket, even a shirt pocket these days on your fishing shirt, or a sling pack, or however you're carrying your stuff. And there's a couple of really nice ones on the market, and first and foremost is this Scientific Anglers. I think this is called the Amplitude Leader Wallet. I'm sure there's a link down below me in the description, as always. And you've just got a bunch of these little Ziploc baggies, which are attached here to the wallet. And basically, you're just going to open up that little Ziploc baggie and pull out the leader that you need and put the leader that you're going to store back in the Ziploc pouch. The other style that we sell here at the shop is made by Rio. I think it probably has about the same amount of capacity. They're very similar in size and shape. The Rio is a little bit fatter, I will say that, and it's got the little bit different closure to it. As far as the fold over here, the Scientific Anglers is just the Velcro on the inside. Minor differences, they both serve the same purpose. The Ziploc baggies are a little bit bigger on the Rio, and I think they're even similar in price. Of course, again, there's links down below me. So let's answer your first question. Okay, I think we just did. The best possible way is a leader wallet. When I plan to store this leader, how do I keep it in good shape and keep it from knotting or kinking? Well, this is a question that we get a lot when you pull a leader out of a package like this. This leader is going to come kind of spiraled up like this or looped up like this. And what I've always done is take your index, your middle, and your ring finger. I usually put this on my left hand. And then you're going to grab the butt section, the thickest part, which usually has this loop on it. And you're going to simply undo the coils there. And then once you get to the point where there's no more, there's one more. Then once you get to that point, you should be able to just simply unfurl that, unravel it, and it should come out without any knots or kinks. I see so many people that do that wrong, and they try to usually grab onto the thinnest part, and it's usually the thickest part of the leader that's kind of wrapped around the coils. And then you're ready to loop it on or tie it on, however you do that. One thing that I will usually do with a leader, especially a monofilament or say a fluorocarbon leader, although I don't use fluorocarbon leaders, but you can run it through your fingers, and the heat from your fingers will kind of straighten it out. Or you can get a leader straightener. I think we talked about a leader straightener in a video just a few weeks ago. It's probably linked right there or down in the description. But I usually just run it through my fingers. If you've got a really bad kink or twist, that leader straightener will help. But just running it through your fingers takes the coil out of that leader, and you're ready to loop it on and go. And then when you want to change your leader again, and you're very smart, Malcolm, in saying that if you're nymph fishing, theoretically, nymph leaders and dry fly leaders are two really different animals, to be honest with you. I mean, if you're just starting out, don't worry about it. Just get yourself some basic nylon tapered leaders. But once you really start getting into it and you start playing around with different techniques, you're eventually going to want to have leaders for contact fly fishing, and that's basically streamer fishing or bass fishing, all saltwater where you have contact with the fly. And then there's non-contact leaders, and there's two parts to that. There's dry fly fishing is non-contact, and nymph fishing is non-contact. And those are really two different, very different animals. A good dry fly leader is not the same thing as a good nymph leader. And so yes, if you're nymphing through a run, all of a sudden fish start rising, you're probably going to want to take a minute and switch out your leader. And in that case, if you're only using a 5-weight, you're going to be best to go loop to loop. Again, I think we did a video on that, fish 3 different techniques with 1 rod, something like that. A couple of months ago, probably linked right there. If you can't see that link, it's down in the description. And you're going to loop on your dry fly leader. And then let's say a little later in the day, the fish stop rising and you decide you want to fish streamers because you know that fish always eat other fish and you want to throw on a streamer. You're going to need a much different leader. A dry fly leader and a streamer leader are dramatically different animals. You're talking about non-contact fly fishing versus contact fly fishing. Big, big, big difference. So anyways, to answer your question, Malcolm, to put this leader away properly, you're going to start at the tippet end, okay? And take those same 3 fingers, your index, your middle, and your ring, and just start to wrap right around your fingers, trying to keep those wraps close. And then once you get to about 5 or 6 inches left, then you're going to start to twist that butt section around the loops, around the coils, and try to get it such that you capture that tippet in there so it doesn't come unraveled. And then it's like butter. It's like new again. And you're going to open up your little Ziploc baggie, and you're going to stick that right down in there. And now you're going to pull out your dry fly leader, your streamer leader, your nymph leader from your kit here, from your leader wallet. Switch it out, tie on your fly, and go. Making that change should not take you more than a minute or 2 at most, okay? Especially if you're doing loop to loop, which is fine for this application. So that's how that's done. Always wrap it up by the tippet side. These 3 fingers just wrap around and then loop that butt around so it doesn't come unraveled. So you did say that you know of leader wallets. I know of no better way, but you wanted to hear my point of view and my side and tactics for this. So I appreciate your time, effort, money, and wisdom. Well, we appreciate you being here and participating in the YouTube channel. So real quick, another question that we get a lot is, how do I set up my leader wallet? Well, I tie a lot of my own leaders, so my leader wallets are really pretty simple. I'll probably have a leader for streamers, which is, of course, contact fly fishing. And I'll probably have one, of course, with the proper diameter and stiffness of butt section to match the rod that I'm fishing. And then I'll probably have one at 12 thousandths diameter tippet for my larger streamers. And then I'll probably have a streamer leader somewhere in the ballpark of 10 thousandths in diameter for smaller streamers. I do occasionally, as we've talked about before, fish some smaller streamers in some applications. I will have some nymph leaders. I've shown you my nymph formula, and I'll usually just have the butt sections. Okay, and the butt section consists of 3 parts. It's usually 3 foot of 20-pound amnesia. It'll be 2 foot of, say, a limp material, Maxima Ultra Green or Orvis Super Strong, and I'll usually be like 11 thousandths, and then 2 foot of, say, 9 thousandths. Again, this needs to be limp material. That's what makes this leader work and facilitates the non-contact portion of this leader. And then I'll have a tippet ring. Okay, and I'll have 3 or 4 of those in my leader wallet, marked as such, and then I can always add the appropriate tippet, usually 3X, 4X, 5X onto the tippet ring, and off I go. And then when it comes to dry fly fishing, I don't tie my own dry fly leaders. Typically, I'll use furled leaders. Sometimes I'll use poly leaders, the airflow floating poly leaders. If I do buy a packaged leader for dry fly fishing, it's going to be the Rio Supple Flex, or Scientific Anglers also make some good ones. I think they're called the Stealth Trout. So I'll carry those. I'll carry some extra furled leaders in my leader wallet. I'll carry some poly leaders in my leader wallet, and I may at times have some Rio Supple Flex and Stealth Trout. And most of my dry fly fishing is going to be 4X tippets, 5X tippets, and maybe 6X tippets. I don't typically go much smaller than 6X. And so, of course, with the furled leader and the poly leader, I'm going to add that tippet. The Rio Supple Flex and the Scientific Angler Stealth Trout, I would buy them in those tippet diameters, and I would mark my leader wallet as such. You can take a permanent marker and mark right on the Ziploc baggie here, but I take the Mad River Outfitters price labels. Okay, we've got 800,000 of them here in the shop. So I just take those price tags, those price stickers that we put on items, and I just put it on there, and then I can mark exactly what I carry. So I might have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe I might have 10 of these packages filled up, and that's going to cover me for almost anything that I might ever do when I'm out on a trout stream, and I might have to switch from contact to non-contact nymph to non-contact dry. Okay, but of course your situation is going to be different. You might use some different types of leaders, some different types of setups and what have you. But you know, but that gives you an idea of what my leader wallet looks like and the one that I carry. So Malcolm, I hope things are going well out there in Montana for you this season. We appreciate you being here. I noticed you did put your address in there. So we will send you out a free hat and a fly box, which of course we always do if we feature your question here on the YouTube channel. So again, thanks for being here and have fun fishing out there. I'll be out in about a month, of course, up at Kelly Gallup Slide In, hanging out with the gang there and our group from Mad River Outfitters. So stop on over and say hi. We'd love to see you. So as always, friends, send your questions over to admin@madriveroutfitters.com. If you need immediate assistance, call us here at the shop. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. That helps us out, and you never miss an episode. And hit the like button. That just makes us feel good. So stay tuned. We've got lots more Q&A videos coming your way. And be sure to watch this video here because you'll really like it. This one, not quite as good, but I mean, you might like it. You know, they're all fun.